Hey guys, I'm Josh.
I'm Oliver.
Today we're working on 2011 Buick Laverne. Um, Today we're going to be making a vault using propane into the air intake, and ideally what should happen will be is that um, the engine should either idle rough or completely shut off. And when we do add propane to it, and when it does shut off, the engine should, when you start it back up, it should be like, it shouldn't start up right away. It takes a while for the propane to get out of the system to replace it with the regular fuel injectors.
With this simulated fault too, we're also going to be looking at PID data. So we're going to be looking at data of our oxygen sensors, as well as data of our short and our long-term fuel trims, just so you can see kind of the differences and what happens when we induce this fault.
I'm going to add propane to the engine, crank it just a little bit. A little bit. And that's just with a little propane. If you add more, it completely stalls the engine.
All right, we are back with the Buick Laverne. We're going to start it up and kind of see that because of the simulated fault from the propane that we've added into the system, we're going to see that the engine is going to struggle to turn over because the excess fuel is going to create a rich condition. So we're going to see that now. And again, as you can see there, we just tried to crank it over and it did not want to start just because the propane, still not wanting to start, yep. So the excess propane is going to create an excess rich condition, which is going to cause the engine to have too much fuel and not enough air to be able to turn over. There it is. All right, we are back with the Buick Laverne. We've got some PID data up of the O2 sensors, the injector pulse width, which is going to be very important later. We've got also long and short-term fuel trims, as well as our MAP and MAF sensors. And we're just going to see with an enrichment using propane how these sensors react. All right, as you can see, the engine did cut off because it became overly rich. So adding the propane added more fuel than air, and the engine just totally cut off because it was starved of air. You can see that the short-term fuel trim went way, way, way down, and then it stabilized. Go back here. And then the heated O2 sensor went up, as you can see, because we were enriching the system. And then we've got our other O2 sensor, which also kind of went up there. And then our injector pulse width totally just cut off as soon as the engine cut off there.
All right, so now that we have finished all of our tests and got our PID readings from our graphs, now that we can conclude this video and give us some of what we basically did and what tests that we have got. So we added propane to the air intake of the Buick, and once we added the propane to the Buick, what actually happens is the fuel injector actually cuts off and uses the propane as another alternative for fuel. And since it's not, I want to say since it's not liquid, a liquid gas is not burning efficiently. So since it's not burning efficiently, the engine will actually stall and or run rough, depends on how much propane you add. So when you add propane, fuel injectors cuts off and just uses the propane as another. It tries to use the propane as another alternative to keep the engine running. In other words, for our pit readings that we got for our graphs, our pit readings came from short term, pure term, long term, pure term as well. And basically, what we got was that when we added the propane, the short term, all the graphs pretty much changed as far as fuel. It either increased or it decreases, and that's what we showed in a previous video, our previous slide as well. Um, but other than that, all our tests has been run for the Buick. We're not gonna harm the Buick anymore. It's running fine now. So thank you guys for watching this video. Oliver doing his test right now, so I just finished before him.